Hello everyone and welcome to my channel once again. So this time around I got a different kind of video for you. It's not gonna be a build guide, it's not gonna be a build showcase, but we are gonna be talking weapon expertise and weapon technique, because I see a lot of people struggling with grasping the concept of how this actually works. And even though I kind of touched upon it, or well, I actually talked about it quite a lot in my deep dive video of the Ren build. Let's be honest, it's almost 50 minutes video and the average watch time is less than 4 minutes. We live in an age where people, scroll through TikToks and Instagram Reels, and anything that's like longer than 10 seconds is, scrap. But I really want to make sure that people understand this, so I decided to make a separate video on it. So weapon expertise, how to unlock it? Well, that's the easiest thing ever, right? All you gotta do is level up your Barbarian to level 5 and it gets unlocked. Now that you have your weapon expertise unlocked, how do you level it up? What it actually is, what it gives you, let's have a look at that. So what it gives you is, well, written in the menu of weapon expertise. So for example, if you are using one-handed axes, you have increased crit strike chance against injured enemies, double this amount when using two one-handed axes, okay? It doesn't mean that if you have a two-handed axe and then one-handed axe with, let's say, one-handed mace, this will be doubled. No, you have to be using two one-handed weapons of the same time for this effect to be doubled, okay? And then you have a secondary effect, lucky hit chance. Crit strikes have up to 55% chance to grant us attack speed, again, doubled if using two one-handed axes. Now, how do we level this up? Okay, all you gotta do is choose a skill and then assign the weapon type to that skill. The best skill to level up your weapon expertise is Whirlwind, because Whirlwind can use any kind of weapon and it is an AoE skill, so it's hitting multiple enemies to level up the expertise. Now, how do you set a weapon to your skill? That's easy. On mouse and keyboard, all you gotta do is press S. When you do, you hover over the skill that you want to assign weapons to, and then you just press your mouse wheel, and as you can see, it's selecting what weapon will be used for my Whirlwind. Okay, I have my Whirlwind set up for two-handed swords. What that means is that whenever I do damage with Whirlwind, if we look at two-handed sword expertise, 20% of direct damage dealt is inflicted as bleeding damage over 5 seconds. And the secondary effect, if I kill an enemy while using a skill that is using the two-handed sword, I will get 30% increased bleeding damage for 5 seconds. Now, what is important to understand with weapon expertise is that just having the weapon equipped does not mean you get the benefit of weapon expertise. Okay, you have to actually be using the skill with that weapon selected. So that's very, very important. Okay, but there is another thing that we unlock as barbarians, and that is weapon technique. We unlock that at level 15 by doing a quest in Bardu, and that basically gives us the main effect. Yeah, keep in mind, it's the main effect of any weapon expertise that we choose at all times, regardless of weapon type we are using for a given skill. Most of the times, if not all of the times, you will see two-handed axe expertise selected. If I were to actually use an axe for my skill, it would give me the main effect of increased damage to vulnerable enemies and the secondary effect of increased crit strike chance of, against vulnerable enemies. But when using the technique, if you hover over it, you can see it's only giving us the 15% increased damage to vulnerable enemies. But this is active at all times. At all times, no matter what kind of weapon we are using. And yeah, this is just like a straight 15% multiplicative damage increase. That's why this is the best technique you can use. So why is this important? Okay, well, a lot of builds are not gonna work unless you have your weapons set properly. Let's say you are using, like myself, no generator build. Okay, I have no basic skill. So how am I generating fury? Well, it's easy. If you look at my Paragon board, I have a legendary node called Weapon Master, which gives me 4% of my max fury whenever I swap weapons. Then in my skill tree, I also have Furious Impulse, which pretty much does the same, but it doesn't give me percentage of my fury, it gives me flat 6 fury. All of this is then increased by the amount of resource gen we got on our gear. For example, if I look at my ring, I have 16.2% resource gen, so it will increase all of the fury I get, whether it be from the Weapons Master or the Furious Impulse. Okay, so once again, very important, you click on S, it will open the skill menu. If you notice, if I hover over my skill just like this and press mouse wheel, nothing's happening. You need to press S to open up the skill menu, okay? And then you can change it. So I have my Whirlwind set to my two-handed sword. Then I have my Rend set to my dual wields. And then I have my charge set to two-handed sword right now. Normally it's set to my dual wields, but I wanna show you how it works in, in actual combat. So whenever I use Whirlwind and then I use Rend, it means that I swap weapons, so it will give me the fury. Then if I, after Rend, use my charge, it will swap weapons again, so again, give me fury. Okay, so that's how you can sustain fury even on a no generator build. Okay, now, as you can see, my charge now has two-handed sword. So if I charge the enemies, they will start bleeding for, that extra 20% of direct damage that I do thanks to the two-handed sword expertise. But if I actually unequip that, or like if I choose a different weapon, let's see, I will choose my dual wield here. Even though I still have my two-handed sword equipped, if I charge now, I do no bleed. Okay, so the weapon expertise only comes in effect when it is selected to be used for that particular skill. It's not in effect at all times. Now, about the weapons expertise, another thing is that there are some skills that got a requirement to be used. If you look at the Rend, it says it requires a slashing weapon, which means I can only use my two-handed slashing weapon or my dual wield weapons. Now, you might have already noticed I am using mace there, so how come this works? Well, you only need one slashing weapon for it to work. And by doing that, whenever I use a skill using dual wield, I not only, make use of the one-handed sword expertise, which, if we look at it, is up to 10% chance to gain fury when hitting crowd-controlled enemy. Super good, super strong, especially in no generator builds. And killing a crowd control enemy grants me 15% attack speed. And also at the same time, I get increased damage to stunned enemies because I am using mace, and I have a lucky hit chance to gain berserking. Also, at the same time, I'm benefiting from my passive skills, from the skill tree, like Wallop. Your skills using bludgeoning weapons, which is my one-handed mace, deal 15% increased damage if the enemy is stunned or vulnerable. So you need just one mace in the dual wield to, make use of this passive. So that's why it is strong. That's why it is important to understand weapon expertise and what it can do for you when assigned to skills properly. Okay, so that's weapon expertise and weapon technique for you. I hope this will help you, further understand Barbarian, further understand how some builds work the way they do, because like this is like I get a lot of questions about it, okay, especially about how to generate fury, because people don't know how to set up their weapons or the skills they are using, okay? So then they are using like two-handed mace for everything, so of course they are not swapping weapons. So this is really, really important. And for all of you controller users, I nearly forgot, you can use, or like you can use the same thing, but we don't have a single button for it. You have to go in your skill tree menu, you press your left trigger, skill assignment, and it will open the menu again. And by pressing, for me it's square, I am circling through weapons, okay, as you can see. So that's how you can do it on a controller. I hope this video was helpful to you, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one, and if you like the video, please leave a comment down below, give me a like, share it with your friends. If you don't know what to comment, you can even comment stuff like algorithm, because that will help my channel grow and make more videos for you. So yeah, in the next one.